All right, you guys, thanks so much for coming on tonight. I so love when we get together live on these team calls. Tonight is extra special because we have a very special guest speaker who everyone who's on already loves and adores, Miss Emily, one of my Star Diamond coaches. And I think you guys already know this about her, but Emily is not only beautiful, funny, and brilliant, but she totally, and I literally just got goosebumps, like mountainous goosebumps on both legs thinking about this. She totally leads with her heart. She leads with love. She leads with passion. And yes, she's beautiful. Yes, she's brilliant. Yes, she's funny. Yes, she's quirky. Yes, she's a social media genius. Yes, she's an independent leader. Yes, she still gives back to her upline team. Yes, 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 yes. She does all these things. But what I love and appreciate most is that she leads with this pure heart and motives that make me just so proud. Like, so proud. She's such good people, and everyone who voxes with her and messages her, she's also very unselfish. So she'll vox with coaches. She's on the left leg of my business, but she will give time and energy to someone like Jen Embers, who's across the river, like is not going to help build her business, because that's the kind of human being that she is. She just recently went with CJ, and I don't know how, if CJ is going to add into this call or what, or if they've talked at all, but they just went together to Eason in San Diego like a week before I was there, to a conference. Now, I'll let Emily explain who Eason is and what she learned, because she's really going to teach us, teach you guys from her highlights there. So I hope you brought a pen and are ready to take notes and are ready to learn. But I do want to just say that I think it's important when you guys are able to do training, business development that is not just Beachbody related. Like, it was really good for me to go to Smart Success, because that was not a Beachbody like training. And I just think that's really wise and adds a different layer of insight of things that we can apply to our business. So we have a little bit of housekeeping stuff that I'll wrap up with at the end, but I'm just going to go ahead and mute myself, and Emily, you can unmute and take it away. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you everybody who's hopping on.
Sure. So hi guys, that was really sweet. Thank you, Ellen. Guys, I was a really, really, really good bank manager. Like, damn good. Like, I was the #1 person in my market usually for the greater Oregon market, and I slayed. I was really happy to take the role of like the mother bear behind the teller line. So people that were tellers on my teller line really felt protected, right? You guys have been in a bank before, right? When people are dealing with your money, how does that feel to deal with those people, right? So we had people that would come into the bank and be so unkind to my tellers. And do you know how that ruffled my feathers? Emily got, like, even now thinking about it, I'm like, I get hot under my skin. People were mean to my tellers, and I had to come to their aid day in and day out. And you know, somebody that's real angry, the first thing they say is, I want to speak with a manager, right? So one day at the bank, this gentleman walked right into the banking center. He didn't like say anything to anybody. He just announced at the top of his lungs, I want to see the manager. And I felt in my like heart, I was like, oh no, he looked nuts. And so he was led over to my desk by the person that was in the lobby, and he sat down at my desk, and he started to yell at me, like not just a little bit, hand raised up in the air, yell at me. From the outside of his wide-brimmed hat crawled an iguana. Not an iguana like you would think like, but like, iguana. Big, fat, thick iguana. And he was like, rah, 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 about overdraft fees. And I was like, oh, sir, sir, you have a lizard on your hat. Is it possible you could maybe take your lizard to the car? And he was like, do you have any idea how sensitive lizards are to heat? And I was like, oh, no, sir. No, you know, and he went like this, harder and harder, and got angrier and angrier and angrier about his overdraft fees. And the lizard started to move side to side on his wine-brimmed hat. And I knew in that moment, fuck this place. I wasn't going to stay here anymore. I'm done. I am done with the bank. So that really happened to me. That's one of my stories, right? So you guys, we're all full of these amazing and enigmatic and cool stories that are just kind of brimming underneath the surface that I would like to help you guys kind of like bring out and develop, right? We all have these things. I went to this conference with CJ and Billy. It was fantastic, and I learned, I mean, there was a gentleman that was from Hollywood that taught us how to be more physically present in our speaking. It was literally one of the most outside of the box things I've ever done in my life, but it changed me profoundly, and I'm a different person coming home from it. So I want to share, one of the things that I learned from this is you learn something and you share it with other people, because that's what true leaders do, right? True leaders don't get information and hold it inside. We don't have notebooks full of information that we just hold. No, we give it to other people. That's how we become leaders. That's how people follow us. So I learned this information, and I've just been like, stewing with it. And I'm excited to share it with you guys. So first of all, telling your story. Every single person on this call has a reason for being here, has a reason, has some sort of a story that changed something in their life that has put us down the path to being here right now, right? We all have something that's led us here. Your job is to find your somethings that have taken you from a path of being corporate America, that have taken you from a path doing whatever you were doing. There was a moment in your life where you decided, I need something different, or I need something more, or this isn't right for me, what I'm currently doing, or I want more for my children, or there was a deciding factor in your life that caused your path to split, right? Everybody here has something. Your job is to find your something and explain it to the people that follow you on social media. And I'm talking about getting a little bit uncomfortable. I've talked about this on other calls before. Sometimes scrubbing yourself and getting raw and getting open and real and honest is hard. And I understand that. But the more open and honest and raw you are, people, that's the connectivity, right? People don't want more bullshit. People don't want another Shakeology picture of you drinking Shakeology. Who cares? People want you. They want your down deep. They want your soul. They want your heart. They want to understand what makes you you in order to follow you and to be somebody to follow you forever, right? We don't want people that are going to come and like buy a challenge back and fall off. We want people that are going to follow us forever, that are going to be with us forever. I want for you guys to be able to find your story. So in order to do that, you need to get real with yourself, right? You need to get real with your experience. So I go to this, 3-day event, and they're talking about getting real with your experience and like this story that really changed something for you. And I dug too deep. I dug real deep, and I found something in 5th grade that really changed me as a person. And you know what? I thought about it, and I told my story to strangers. I cried and I cried, and it was really, really hard. That's not my story that I need to tell everybody right now. But you guys, oh my gosh, was that ever healing? We have these stories inside of us that are transformative, right? In order for us to be our biggest, proudest selves and to live in our power, we need to tell those stories. We don't need to tell those stories, though, necessarily on social media. Not everybody needs to know about that 5th grade story for me, right? Maybe someday when I've told my other stories and I feel like it's time. But you need to lean into some of the painful stuff, which is really kind of hard, right? So I was 70 pounds overweight, you guys. That was so painful. I wasn't able to look at myself in the mirror, right? How many people, though, feel that way right now that follow me on social media, that look at themselves in the mirror and they don't know who that person is? A lot. I want to speak, and you know what? My story is not going to resonate with everybody, and that's okay. I don't need everybody to resonate with my story. I need my people to resonate with me. So, telling my story and being open and honest. Who saw my story about my first ever panic attack? CJ saw it. Angela saw it. Lindsay saw it. Bill saw it. Okay. Not only is that one of the most commented things that I've ever had on Facebook, but it is one of the most insane, like, payback things I've ever gotten. I literally had like 12 messages within my inbox about that story saying, girl, that's me. I told something deep and dark about myself. I talked about my very first time that I ever had a panic attack and what it felt like. I thought I was dying. And I talked about that on social media. And these people are just like, people need real life connection. We are in an age where you get so much bullshit. You come on your internet and you're like, oh, buy this unique thing, and oh, buy my Rodan and Fields thing, and buy this and buy that. I hate my baby daddy, mama. We get so much, it's true. We get so much garbage thrown at us day in and day out and day in and day out. Why not add a little bit of truth to the mix, people? Right? You guys all have these beautiful, wonderful stories just lying underneath the surface. They deserve to be told. They will bring your tribe directly to you, and you will be richer in the process. I'm not talking about money, but you will heal in the process of telling all these things that are sometimes a little painful to tell. We need to heal. Guys, as coaches, we need to heal from the shit of being 70 pounds overweight and not being able to look at ourselves in the mirror. We need to heal from that. We do. We need to be able to say, you know what? Even I might not be exactly where I want to be right now, but I love me. We got to heal. We have to, as coaches, be able to go back to people and say, I want to help you, and be able to help them genuinely to love themselves at that 70 pounds overweight, right? Hell to the yeah. Okay, so in your story, there's gonna be something that is this underlying kind of beautiful thing, right? We're all the hero of our own story. Okay, David and Goliath. Who do you always choose? You choose David, right? Always. David and Goliath is a biblical story. You guys better all know who that is and what that is. But you always choose the hero of that story. You are the hero of your story. In order for you tell your story, you become automatically the hero, and you have an adversary, right? So myself, I have these adversaries that I have named, and it makes me feel powerful, right? This was one of the exercises we did. It was naming our adversaries. So I look at my old life and who I used to be, and I name those adversaries. I was a hermit. I was so painfully insecure, and I battled us every single day, right? Goliath is insecurity, and I will not be insecure, and I will be strong, and I will stand in my power every single day, and I will show the people that are following me that they can do the exact same thing, right? So name your adversary. What are you up against? What are you fighting for? You guys, if you're not fighting for something, come on. You can't just diddle about. How are you going to be a persona? I talk about personal branding all the time. What's your adversary? What's your brand's adversary? Mine is insecurity. I won't be insecure. I won't be anything but exactly who I'm meant to be right now. I'm going to live out loud, and I'm going to show people that they can be exactly who they are as well. Find your adversary for your story. Right? Can I get an amen?
Preach it.
Hallelujah. In the proximity of your dreams, you have to realize that they're achievable. I want to tell you guys something that so one of the things about when you start telling your story, things start to bubble up. You're like, oh, I didn't even know that happened, and it changed the way I felt about things, and things start to, I effervesce now. I swear to God, I'm bubbling up with stories now, and it's phenomenal. Anyway, I went with Ellen to the elite party at Summit. I had these ideas of all of these top coaches, and I felt so less than, kind of a little bit. And I had this defining moment in my journey when I walked up to Bonnie Engel, who is, I think, number 2 in the company right now, and her eyelash was kind of hanging off. And I said to her, oh my gosh, I've watched all of your stuff. And she grabbed my hands and she said, oh my gosh, I just keep putting out stuff and I don't know if anybody watches it. And like, she's us. She's all of us. And I think she's number 2 in the company right now, or number 3, like something ridiculous. She is us. There's literally nothing different about, she's a girl, and she's a precious girl, and she was very sweet, and we talked for a moment, but she's just a girl. She's not a god. All of us have the capacity to go as far as we want in this business, and it was a slap in the face to me. I talked with Jericho McMatthews, who I did her flippin' workout today, and I like sidled up next to her for a picture, and I was like, oh, girl, you look beautiful. And she said, oh my gosh, I was in such a hurry because I was trying to get the baby fed, and I was trying to, and she felt insecure about the way she looked. And she was literally the prettiest woman in the place. And it slapped right into me again. She's just a person. Any person that, you guys, if you want this enough, the world is your oyster. There is no such thing as anyone that's better than anybody else in this business. Magnetism. What you want to tell people is your vision, right? Who have you told your vision? Do you tell your followers your vision? Your vision for your team? Do you tell them? Do you ask them to join you and to like build that vision together? Do you? You need to establish what your vision is for the future of your team. Because like Ellen was saying earlier, yeah, I'm a break apart leader. You guys, do you know how much I grew when I kind of broke apart from the main and tried to do things on my own? I learned a really lot. I really did. You should do the same. I'm not, sorry. But guys, if you really want to be a leader, You got to break away. You got to try things on your own. Do your own sneak peeks. Do your own whatever build a team of your people that you want to be great. Tell them your vision and then ask them to build it with you. That creates magnetism, and you become a leader that is magnetic and people want to follow you. So the last thing I'll say before I am done, because I could literally sit on here and talk all night about this stuff. I was so incredibly impassioned about all of the different stuff that I learned. I'm so blessed. And I want to say thank you so much to Bill and CJ for inviting me. You guys are just my heart. Thank you so much. I have gotten out of my own way. Ever since I went to this, I've always kind of been a little bit awkward around people when I first talk to them, because I feel like sometimes I want to talk to them so desperately, and then I come on too strong and people are always like, and so I've stopped talking to them. I really have. I've stopped talking to people. I go to the San Diego airport to get on my plane, and there was a gentleman, and he was selling me a book, and I felt that there was something wrong. He was kind of mean to me, and I was asking him about different books, and he was very curt and short. And his mother had just died from breast cancer. And by me, I just kept talking to him, and I just let him talk, and I really listened. I made a connection with some strange man at the San Diego airport and let him talk, and he cried, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I was meant to be here at this time, I guess. But I've always gotten in my own way and not really talked to people. Get out of your own way, guys. Live your truth. If you're a talkative person, who cares? Stop caring about what people think. The people that matter won't mind. Okay? So, if you guys have any questions, I guess. I was a little jumbled, but I just felt it. Sorry. If you guys have any questions about anything, it was a 3-day event in La Jolla, California. It was fantastic. It was it was really about speaking in public, but I took it all toward social media myself. So if you guys would like to work on writing your own story, I am more than willing to help you craft it for social media. You need to have economy of words. You can't have it be this like, bleh, or people won't read it. It needs to have a very catchy first line. But I would love to help anyone that's willing to write their story and have it applicable to social media. So.
And on that note, Emily, I sent you and Ellen both the series. I did a series back in April when I came back from the Bow event. I just sent it to both of you in private messenger. It is I think it's a 4-part series. It breaks down exactly how to write your story to the nth degree, like you would be sitting there at Bo's event. And the really cool thing is the very last video, Bo gets on himself. He got on our team call and he wrapped up the series for us. So it would be really great for those of you that want to take Emily up to go through those steps. And I'm going to be honest, they're long. You don't have to stay through the question and answers at the end, but I would highly recommend that you go through the series and watch it and then work with Emily, because, and I'm available as well. I've had several people from my team that have actually written kind of their, what we call a signature story, and helped them wordsmith it to the point where they could actually do it in 2 to 3 minutes on a 2 to 3 minute video on social media. So I'm throwing that out there if you guys want access to that.
And I got to see what CJ is talking about. I watched all the videos and they're really good. So I think you should do it.
So the ability to tell your story and be open and honest and vulnerable, like Brene Brown says.
I have a question for CJ and Emily.
Go for it, Elle.
I think she's frozen.
I have a question for both of you guys about, like, yeah, Brene Brown and being vulnerable and everything. So at leadership, they were saying there is such a thing as going too far with vulnerability, and like there's a sweet spot with it, and it takes awareness and knowing your audience, because there is such a thing as being too vulnerable, and also like also being like too like, you know, I'm going through this and I'm going through that, so I didn't get my workout in today, and I ate all the sweets at work, and like we want to be vulnerable, but still always portray like our, like putting our optimal self, not a fake self, but our optimal best self. Would you guys speak to that or rebut that if you disagree, or can you guys speak to that?
Yeah,
like how
let me start, and then Em, you can finish, because Bo talks about that. There's a difference between telling your story and puking on people, and continually posting the fact that you didn't get your workout in because, oh, woe is me, this is happening. Oh, woe is me, that is happening. That's puking on people. They don't want to hear that. When you're telling your story, think about it like this.
She frozen? You're frozen.
Sorry. Yeah, my internet sucks. Am I back? So guess what? We get to move into our house soon, and I get real internet instead of hotel internet. I'm so excited. Okay, anyways, so there's a difference between puking and actually telling somebody your story. So think about it like this. Your story is there to impact somebody else. It's not for you to have a platform to say, look at me, I'm so great, or look at me, my life really sucks. That's not the platform for telling your story. And am I frozen, or did you hear that?
We heard it.
Okay, cool. So that's really what you have to do. And too often us as coaches, fall into the, some of us that, we struggle, right? We're real people. We struggle with food. We struggle with getting our workout in. Your followers don't want to hear that, because if they're hearing that all the time, oh, I'm struggling again. Oh, it's a new week, I'm struggling again. Then they're not going to trust you, because you are not, you have no continuity. So that's not the type of story. The type of story that you want to be telling is what Emily talked about earlier, about a defining moment. That moment when a defining moment is defined, that's horrible, as your shit is all around you. Everything is going crazy. Your world is like falling apart or good. Maybe things are going really great. And you look around and there's nobody else but you. And you have to make a decision. You're either going to fight or you're going to flight. That's a defining moment, right? The moment that Emily saw a picture of herself and decided, I am not going to be that fat girl anymore. And she made a decision. The other thing, to Elle's point, is that you don't want to be telling your story while you're in the middle of it necessarily. Now, that's contrary to what we say, tell your story as a Beachbody coach on your journey. Don't wait till you get to the end result. But that we're not talking about weight loss in this specific case, right? What we're talking about is your life story. Emily's iguana story. Angela, she wants to be living on the beach story. You want to be telling those stories, Like Ellen, she's watching her kids blossom from what they used to be like little babies in her arm. Like she can tell that story and how she can then loop it back to Beachbody, right? She can loop it back. I'm able to watch my kids, grow as musicians. I'm able to, bring my kids on this journey, all because I made a choice at some point in my life that I wasn't going to be broke and that I wasn't going to work for $10 an hour for the rest of my life or whatever, right? I'm making stuff up. Em, you want to add to that?
So I would say definitively, you are not Beachbody. Don't be Beachbody. Because guess who's going to want to buy that? Nobody. Nobody wants to buy Beachbody. They want you as their coach. That the most important thing that you can do is be a real ass person, right? So yes, I don't always get my workout in. But I never want my followers to feel like I'm being negative. I want my followers to feel my brand. And my brand is love and self-love and all that stuff. So you know what I'm going to do throughout my day is try to find little points in my day that speak to something that I did that was self-love, something that I did that was living my life on my terms, which is something that I didn't used to do. So I'm throughout my social media, I'm always try to be somewhat positive. And even if I say, you know what, I didn't get my workout in today, I try to find the silver lining. Do you know how rare that is to find somebody that's always looking for the silver lining? People don't need more negativity in their lives, guys. They just don't. Try to find the silver lining in your own story. Be the David. Be the hero. Show people that they can get through their day too. I have shitty days all the time, but you guys don't hear about it. It's the honesty of things, right? So it's about teaching a lesson at the same time. We've all learned something, even if you've been in the business just a short amount of time. You've learned something about yourself. Teach lessons to people. Let people know that you have the ability to teach them something. If people feel like you have value that you can give to them, they will follow you to the ends of the earth, right? I try to teach people day in and day out to love themselves more, to try to get some movement in their body, to be free of the man or corporate America. Like, that's my brand. So I try to teach people how to do that better. So yeah, that's what I would add to that. Does that answer your question, Ellen?
Yeah, totally. That was great. And I like what CJ put in the chat about your story. Your story should give people hope.
Always.
Yeah, this is really good, you guys. Any other questions, you guys, about the Bo Eason conference, about telling your story, about any other questions for Emily and CJ tonight? I have some quick announcements to blow through that'll take about 2 minutes, but I want to make sure everyone has a chance to ask questions or to add value to this conversation. Okay, I'm going to blow through some announcements really quickly. Just type in the chat bar if my internet breaks up and I need to just stop talking. Number one, next week, a week from today, is Halloween, so I'm going to cancel the team call. However, I could do a workshop with you guys that shows how to do, if you guys go to it's a combination of Danielle Natoni's exact survey and some things we learned from Caitlin Davies. So I could do a workshop on that on Halloween early enough that you guys could still hang out with your kiddos. The following week is Joel. No, the following week is me. Leadership takeaways. No, that's November 7th. November 14th is Joel coming to us. That's actually the day we're going to launch. I'm going to launch a challenge group on Quarter 4. So next week is Halloween. We can do a live workshop for those who are interested. But you don't need to. Number 2, the 7th is my takeaways from leadership. I need you guys to be there. I learned some things about things that I'm really doing wrong as the upline of illuminate to you that I wasn't aware of that have an impact on the way our team has been building and growing. So I want to share those things with you. And then the following week is Joel. We are partnering with CJ's team for the next 3 weeks in team calls, which is awesome. So expect to see them on. And then thirdly, Team Spirit is starting November 1st. You can still register. We're registering under FitForce. Holly Hireman being the upline, the founder of that team. If you want to register, please do. There's a couple of different avenues and approaches that we're going to take once we are in November for our Team Spirit sort of quote unquote competition. But of course, there will be, of course, I just want to encourage you to launch Core to Force just because it's the new program. If you feel like that's going to hit your market. This is a huge time of year to capitalize. You guys, there's nothing like Thanksgiving. There's nothing like after Thanksgiving to get people wanting to get fit. I promise. I've seen it year after year after year after year. Don't be unprepared. Don't miss this wave coming. And then lastly, we have a diamond retreat or a leader retreat. It's not just a diamond. Maybe someday when I'm a bigger team and have more diamonds, it will be. But right now, we have thank you, CJ, workshop, please. And CJ, we can talk about this if you're interested. We're doing a March. Kristen helped me really, really hammer out the details with this, but March 2nd through the 5th in Provo, Utah with corporate offices. Jeff Hill, Doug Moss, they're going to speak. Keyshawn just told me at leadership she's going to come speak to us. And I have some incentives in place, so we can carry that conversation offline, off this phone, off this team call tonight, but conversation already started in the team page and you need to fill out the survey. Okay, awesome, CJ. And I have some incentives in place for my crew. You don't have to be diamond. Maybe someday, not yet. We can hold 30 people in the house. We've got 15 so far saying they want to be there. So we'll talk more about that after this call in the team pages, DJ, and in my team page. And Emily can share anything, and Lindsay with with their team, and Kristen with your team, and Embers with your team, and Sandra with your team, Jake with your team, and Nick doesn't have a team page yet. I was like, who else has a team page on here? Okay, so that's all I got. Any questions or comments before we close?
Emily, you killed it. You freaking killed it. It's awesome to watch the aftermath. I'll call it the aftermath of attending this event. Yeah, I see it on your social media. I see it on your face. I see it the couple times we've talked. And I'm really, really, really thankful that you were able to go with us.
It was wonderful. And you guys, I know it seems like weird or it's different to go to any kind of these events. Tony Robbins has them. There's Shalene Smart Success. There's all these different things. It was life-changing. Like, I don't know if I was just ultra receptive to it because I'm at a certain time in my life or whatever, but it was pretty life-changing. I would recommend you do something like this. Like, if you're ready and you need a change in your life, it's pretty amazing. So I think I'll see like my business grow because of it in the next year or so.
And I think because and we got to go because Ellen likes to be prompt on her team calls. No, I'm not so
okay.
prompt.
No, we're okay.
Okay.
We're okay.
So
CJ, fine. Take your time.
Okay.
And you saw Jelly had asked a question.
Yep. And so I'll put the entire series that I did in the file section, so you can get to all the links and follow them in a row. But, one of the things that Emily and I talked about while we were in this house, and by the way, Ellen, if we ever decide to do a diamond retreat together, the house we stayed in was freaking amazing. Oh, it was so freaking amazing. Anyways, if anybody ever wants to pick my brain about what type of in business development, personal development type seminar to attend, please feel free to reach out to me. Bill and I have made it a mission to really invest ourselves in these things because I've seen such huge stuff. And 99% of the stuff that I ever teach that I've worked with Ellen on, or Jembers, or Emily, or Lindsay, or Christina Mick, people from my team, Angela, Heather, like 99% of the stuff that I teach, I've learned somewhere else. So if you guys ever are in that place where you're like, hey, I want to do something, feel free to reach out to me, because wouldn't you agree, for you specifically, this was the best first one you could have ever attended? Yeah. So if you guys ever want to, pick my brain, we've attended a ton of them. We've done all of Shalene's, Brendan Bouchard, Jeff Walker, Bo Eason. So if you guys ever, that was it. I just wanted to let people know they could pick my brain if they want to.
I have a question about like the Bo Eason and some of the ones you've gone to. When I went to Smart Success, which again, CJ, like, but for you, I wouldn't have gone. I felt like, forget about my coaching business. Like, this being here made me a better human being. Like, I'm gonna go home a different wife, a different mom, a different steward of my money. Like, I mean, of course it had huge bearing on my business. I mean, ask my team. It's all I talked about on team calls for like 3 months. It's all they were like, shut up about Smart Success. It's all I talked about. But business aside, like, it changed who I was. Are the other ones that same way? Like, they bleed out into other aspects of who you are?
Yeah. So, so I'll just give a quick take. So, Marketing Impact is, that's Shalene's Marketing Impact Academy. It's a great one for somebody that wants to launch their freemium, and you don't have to have your own product. You could do it with Beachbody, but to launch your freemium, to really understand the components of marketing down to the nth degree or nitty gritty, right? It's really good for that. Whether you're a beginner or whether you're advanced like Emily, you will definitely get stuff out of that. And Angela went to that one with me. I took her to Marketing Impact a couple months ago. Smart Success is, you are wanting to go really far with this business. You're constantly feeling overwhelmed. You aren't really sure. Your husband or wife is bitching because they never see you. You're not spending quality time with your kids. You feel like you're pulled in 20 different directions and you're constantly overwhelmed. That's Smart Success. Would you agree, Al? Yep. Bo Eason, Personal Story Power. Personal Story Power is for somebody who either is already truly doing social media, and what I mean truly doing social media, you already have engagement, where you really need to bust out to that next level and truly be your best self on social media, or the person that totally dismisses themselves, and Emily, bite your tongue, the person that totally dismisses themselves on social media before anybody has the opportunity to dismiss them. it's for that person that needs to break out of that shell. Could be an introvert. It could be an extrovert trying to get out. That's what Eason is. It is challenging you to stop fricking around and go out and actually be your best self through story, period. Now, all of these conferences that I've just stated, they're an investment. They are an investment. Personal Story Power, which is what Emily just went to, it's three full days, $2,500. I just saw Kristen's face go, what? Marketing Impact Academy that I took Ange to, 1997, and that's assuming that Shalene doesn't increase her fees. Smart Success is $997. But don't start at Smart Success because it's the cheapest if that's not where you need to be right now. Now, for those of you that are like, holy crap, there's no way in hell I would ever afford that, or I would ever spend that, or I could ever afford that, it is very easy to break it down per month and put the money away because you are absolutely worth it. Your business is worth it. And I can tell you right now, as sure as I am sitting here, Billy and I have seen a huge difference, not necessarily for me and Beachbody. That's a whole different story. But your ROI is huge. Go.
It's not, I thought I was going just because of my business, and I have been a better person. You guys have been doing all this PD, right? And really trying to invest in yourselves. This was like PD on roids, and you're like immersed in it for days, and you're like, oh my gosh. But I mean, I'm a better person because I went to this. So it's not just your business, although it does. Oh my gosh, I feel like my business is going to grow by leaps and bounds. It's deeper.
Yep. And if any one of those descriptions, and you want to know, like, I pretty much know when each of these launch. So if one specific one, you thought, okay, hey, that one sounds really like me, ping me and I'll tell you when it's going to launch, meaning when they're going to open cart for it. And when they hold them. Bo holds 2 a year of his Personal Story Power. So, okay, I think
Heather just said it's a business write-off too, so.
It is a business write-off.
That too.
So I think that's, unless anybody's got any questions. Ange, do you want to talk about marketing impact real quick, briefly?
If you are looking for great tools and are ready to load up your toolbox and then hit the road running, that is the conference for you.
Cool. All right, Elle.
Like homework. Even when there's a party that night, there's homework.
Shalene gives homework. A lot of it, right, Elle? All right, I think that's it for me.
All right, you guys, let's close with this. I want to thank you, CJ, for doing this with Emily. You know, I just, it's a gift to me that you did that with her as well. And I also feel like, holy cow, she was already a good storyteller. Like, she was already like, I just feel like you armed like someone who's already like heavily loaded. Like, her tool belt is already like heavy with, she's already a great storyteller. So I'm super excited to watch her, to learn from you both. And I totally appreciate and value you guys coming on tonight and leading us through this and providing extra resources in the file section of Team Play Hard. And yeah, we'll just see you guys the next few weeks for a little mini series we're doing of guest speakers and exciting topics. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. Kansas had to peace out because, you know, it's much later there. So we lost Nick and Adele. All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
So write your story and get at me. I'll help you. Be brave.
Okay.
Write your story.
Okay.
Be brave. Get at me.
Ember, Google Drive me.